Hello, my name is Craig Saxton, and today I'm going to be giving a presentation on why video games do not cause violence. I want to start off by saying that I have a lot of personal experience in this. As you can see behind me, I have a game poster. I have more scattered around the room, but this one is in the shop. Now, I know for a while that there has been a lot of debate on whether they cause violence or not. This is probably due to the fact that there have been several murders and killings where the student who committed a school shooting or etc. played video games and got it in his head that, hey, I'm going to go do this and that and kill people. This is a little bit far-fetched, in my opinion. Now, I'm turning 22 years old in March of this year, and I've been playing video games for the better part of more than half my lifespan, since I was a very young boy. Now, I may have a little bit of an anger problem that I can admit, and sometimes I can get a little bit. But I play video games to escape to a different world. They evoke my imagination. I come in here to this room, my game room, and I play these games to get away from issues in real life. They bring me joy, make me happy. They relieve stress. When I get a bad email, or I get bad news from my mom or my grandma, I come in here and I play games on my TV or on my computer. And it helps me relieve stress. I know lots of people who play video games to escape to a different world, to get away from reality for a couple hours. Going back to this poster, you can see that there are 3 weapons, hidden daggers. This is a pretty violent video game. I've played it, obviously. It's pretty violent. It's pretty violent, I'm not gonna lie, but never once has it made me want to dress up like this, hidden blade, and go stab somebody. Not once. I also have a Call of Duty poster, pretty popular game, where you play men in our armed forces and you shoot bad guys, basically. I've played that too, and not once have I wanted to get a gun and go shoot somebody. Now, obviously, I cannot just say, oh, hey, just because I don't want to do that, someone else doesn't want to. I know there are many people out there who may have mental deficiencies who play a video game and go, I'm going to do this. Or you get people who have they just get impacted by things like that. And that's kind of the parents' fault. If you know your kid is easily, copies something that they watch or see, then you shouldn't be letting them see that type of media. At the same time, I do know that there are people who get angry from video games. I played a game called League of Legends, and the community is very famous for having people who get very angry at the game. But you'll find that in a lot of competitive games, where kids who play and they want to win, and they're on a team setting, and if the team is doing bad, you're dragging them down, and it just upsets them, and they'll throw keyboards and get angry, and it is upsetting, to say the least, that people will get upset over video games. Not that I have never been upset. I mean, occasionally I get stuck on a level and, makes me get a little bit angry. Now, that's my personal experience, but I know that I can't just, say, hey, this is my opinion and that's the end of that. No. There have been studies, many studies. Some do say that, hey, it causes violence. There is a small percent that I would totally agree can be, become violent when they play video games. That's what statistics have showed. It can also show that they can just be an inherently angry and violent person. It can also show bias from the researchers who may not, like video games or see something wrong with the game that is being played. Overall, though, statistics show that video games do not make the youth of today violent. In fact, our crime rate is at one of the lowest points it's ever been. We still have a lot of crime, but you can go look it up. I even have it linked. Crime rate is lower than it has been. Now, obviously, I cannot contribute this to video games becoming more popular in recent years. It could be a possibility. Who knows? But at the same time, video games are not causing people to go out and shoot other people in the streets. Which brings me to my next really important factor. We've been around on this earth for such a long time. A very long time. This poster demonstrates really well. This guy right here, he's from the modern era, our year, 2014. This guy is from Renaissance Italy. And this guy is from the Crusades, back in medieval era. So think about that for a moment. Modern, and two guys from the past. All three of them kill people. Evil people, but that's not what I'm getting at here. What I'm getting at is the world has been violent since the dawn of creation. Back in medieval times, knights, the Crusades, killed each other, slayed. Women and children, brutally killed. Renaissance Italy was not as war-torn as the Crusades, but regardless, war, killing, crime has been around for thousands of years. Regardless if humans were doing it. There's always been violence. Always been violence, there's no doubt about that. No matter how many years. And I'm sure it'll be around 20,000 years from now, if the Earth is still standing by then. My point is, look at any other country that may not have a lot of video game support. There are lots of third world countries where there's war. Look at Somalia. Somalia pirates. I do know, and this is nowhere on subject, that they are influenced by our media, but that is not the reason that they have become pirates. It's a very poor country, and they've had to resort to it. Video games did not cause that at all, and it would be far-fetched to even begin to think so. So, overall, I don't think there's any real basis to say that video games cause violence. My personal experience, statistics, mostly it's up to the parent to decide what their kids play. If they need to look at the rating system. Some parents are like, it doesn't matter what my kid plays. Let them play whatever. My mom was like that. I turned out fine. But there are some kids out there who are gonna take this to a little. They may not realize what they're seeing. In fact, the newest Grand Theft Auto that came out just a couple months ago was really graphic in everything from killing to nudity. And if a parent's like, oh, it's fine if my kid plays this rated M game, and rated M stands for mature, well, your kid goes home and he plays it, and he sees all this stuff, and then later the parent will be like, I cannot believe that my child saw this stuff. Bad game company. When it's not even the game company's fault, it's the parents. It's the parents for letting their kids play this game in the first place. And looking back, how many other types of media have we had where people are like, they're causing violence? Look at movies. For a while, movies were like, movies are making today's generation more violent. Look back at the old 90s movies like Terminator 2, RoboCop. Those were violent movies. You had guys getting shot, cut, murdered. They were violent. Very good. Violent. That does not mean that it made people more violent in the world today, which they don't. And if you go back even further, when rock music first came out, it was the devil's music. The devil's music made people violent, made them seem like they were worshiping the devil. What I'm getting to is, all media has been scrutinized at one point. I simply think it's video games' time to be scrutinized because of their popularity. But I from the statistics, everything I've said laid out, anybody can look at this. Anybody can look at this and know that this is not a great foundation for them to be able to play video games. I do not believe that this will go very far. It hasn't. A lot of the cases have failed because there was no great evidence showing that video games cause violence. So in conclusion, I don't believe video games cause violence at all. There may be a small percent where they do, because there are factors like that no matter what you do. But that's fine. It's understandable. I do believe parents should take a more active role in selecting video games for their children. I also believe that people need to step back, and even if they don't think that, like, Grand Theft Auto is a great game because of what it shows, they need to realize that some people do enjoy playing these games to escape to another world, be another person. A good example is Breaking Bad, currently on AMC. That just ended. Main character started off as a good guy. You know, he wanted to get money for his family to leave behind because he had cancer. He became a meth lord, a drug lord who sold meth, killed people who got in his way, and people loved this show. They loved that character, even though he was evil, a misogynist, killed relentlessly. He went from a good guy to a bad guy, and people loved him. They hated the good characters. They loved the bad guy. Does that make us violent? No. Some people just want to be able to say, I want to step into someone else's role for a day. This is fiction. This is nonfiction. We're allowed to imagine, let our minds wander. That's what I believe. I thank you for watching my presentation, and I look forward to giving more in the future. Thank you very much.